Yo, yo, yo. Sorry, man. I just had a sneezing fit. Like, right as I was supposed to be switching scenes and talking to you guys, started sneezing my little head off. You know what I'm saying? Yo, what's up, guys? Happy weekend. Happy Saturday. What's going on? How you doing? Hopefully well. It's good to see you. It's good to be back. As always, for today's video gaming news segment, covering our topics for January 20th, and then diving into day 2 of Power World. I'm excited to get back into Power World. Power World was fun yesterday, man, and I'm excited to play some more, so that's what we're going to do today. Do understand I've got a bit of a weird day today. I want to play, probably what's going to happen, I'm probably going to have to do like a 2-part stream. So, I've got something going on around midday. I need to run and go take care of something. So what we'll probably do is get a nice like 6+ hours of streaming, and then I'll probably have to like cut it for about an hour or so, then maybe come back and get a few more hours in and play, and then we'll call it for the day. Something like that. But we'll just have to see how the day flows, okay? Well, and especially if like people are wanting to play together and stuff like that, you know, then that's even more of a reason, because I'm having fun playing this game. And the more people that want to play and want to hang out today, because it is the weekend and stuff, the more I'm likely to like do a 2-part stream and go a little bit long today and stuff. So, I don't know. That's the play though, man. That's the plan. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's go ahead and do what we do, man. Let's get over here and dive into video gaming news for today. All right, let's go. Let's do it, baby. Love that Java. Love that Java. Let's see what we got. We're jamming this morning. Yeah, we've already kind of covered this in a large capacity, actually. A lot of this we covered at the beginning of the month because we made our schedule, right? So we made our schedule, which you can see in chat right now. Bring it up. This is our tentative 2024 schedule. I need to update the month so far for kind of what we've done. We've already finished up Baldur's Gate 3. We got soft locked out of finishing Alan Wake 2. I'm not all that bent about not finishing Alan Wake 2. That game was not that good to me. We've been playing Fallout New Vegas. We are in the midst of finishing the final DLC, and then we'll be doing the completion of the base game. But Fallout New Vegas this entire time has kind of been our slot-in game, and Power World dropped. It looks like a ton of fun. We had been following that game for a long time, and I couldn't help myself, man, so we're in there in Power World right now. So this needs to be updated with some Power World stuff. I'll get the dates put in exactly on what we played and when and stuff, but it's not far off. So this is our tentative schedule, and also, you know, what we did was we've got some notable things, like here's Power World was slotted in for when it was supposed to be releasing, to keep track of some of these other games we're interested in seeing that are dropping, you know, as well as we have the list of the TBA release dates for games that are coming out this year we're really interested in, and other potential games that aren't necessarily on the schedule yet that we're going to try to get slotted in if we can, you know, that kind of stuff. So we've done this, man. We've covered that kind of stuff, and it was a lot of fun. We took like 2 entire days, 2 entire stream days, man, to build out the schedule, and I love doing that, man. So big shout out to everybody that was here and a part of those streams and helping to determine exactly what we were going to be doing this year, tentatively anyways. I keep seeing these articles, and I can only wonder how much of this they're trying to correlate between definitively and being just video games, and not also talking about, and I'm not going to dive into this whole like loud video games tied to hearing loss. Oh, really? Thanks, Captain Obvious. Just like anything else that's too loud can be tied to hearing loss, whether it be a loud work environment or listening to music too loud. You know what I mean? Anything like that can be tied to hearing loss or tinnitus. So, a logical person that you know understands this type of stuff, it just takes a little bit of critical thinking and reasoning skills. If you don't want to have hearing loss, to a great extent, everybody, I think most people have degraded hearing loss as you get like old. It's just the same thing with your eyes and stuff. Your body wears down as you get old. You know what I mean? But if you don't want to have a significant amount of it, don't listen to things that are too loud. Okay? That's just... So them trying to maybe blame this just specifically on video games, or are they actually calling out this being just, you know, associated with anything loud? Because that's actually what it is. Don't play video games because you won't be able to hear later on. You know, that's what I'm worried about, because the video games have been blamed for so much crap for so long. You know, it just wouldn't even surprise me. I guess that's what I'm getting at. Yeah, the Indiana Jones games looked pretty good. That was about the only thing I saw come out of the developer direct that looked pretty decent. Should we give up on owning games? No. As a matter of fact, I think we need to be fighting even harder about owning games as we move into a digital realm. You know, I think that the fight for ownership is more critical for us, and this whole transition into the majority of things being digital, you know, we need to be able to go, we still own that. We should be able to do with that piece of ownership what we will, as long as it's not something like, you know, breaking copyright laws or piracy laws or something like that, you know. As long as you're, you know, if you want to trade that game for another game, or if you want to give that game to somebody else or whatever, you know, like we used to be able to do with physical games. I mean, look, man, I think that that's something that people should be able to do. You own that, just like you did physical games. And so I think that we need to be fighting harder about owning games, not giving up. And there's always one of the reasons this is becoming a prominent topic right now is because there's so much talk about people just need to be comfortable with not on. There's this funny, like, I'll show everybody. I put this in the Discord the other night. So this type of thing, right? This is taken out of context a bit here, but it was still funny, so I shared it. This was taken out of context, really, because Ubisoft exec says gamers need to get comfortable with not owning your games. And really, it's because Ubisoft is really pushing their streaming service, right? So they're trying to get people to be more comfortable with just, you know, buying into a streaming service and not necessarily owning the products themselves. That's what this came down to. But this was still really, really funny, you know? And so, you know, so people were taking it out of context and going, well, if purchase isn't ownership, piracy isn't theft, which is really funny, but it was definitely taken out of context here. You know what I mean? But Ubisoft is pushing this narrative of, you know, get comfortable not owning your games, because they want people buying into subscription service and streaming services and stuff. They've got a lot riding on it. now especially since the acquisition of Activision Blizzard by Microsoft, because they are a big player in owning the streaming rights to all of these titles coming out of Microsoft now for the next 15 years. So they're pushing this narrative. They want people being more comfortable with not owning games because they don't want people purchasing games. They want people buying into a subscription service. But if you're going to be purchasing games, especially on a digital front, then we need to be more active about pursuing our rights, if you will, in what ownership of this digital media means for us. I think that's what it comes down to. We vibing this morning. I'm so disgusted by this Naughty Dog play for Last of Us Remastered. Like, just disgusting, dude. PlayStation Portal is marvelous despite its flaws. Jesus Christ. PlayStation needs to just... PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, you know, all of these console platforms need to just worry about giving their consumers the nice, seamless, intuitive, quality of life option of, you know, local area network streaming access for their devices, or for their hardware, you know. So instead of people being made to feel like if they want to have a intuitive, seamless, easy way to stream their games from their hardware, their PS5 to another device, they need to buy something. This should be a quality of life option that you should be able to stream, you know, to anything that can run an app, or, you know, as long as your PS5 is running, that's what pushes all the functionality of running the game, and then it can just be streamed over to any other device on your local area network. This is a quality of life option that gamers should have for buying into the platform, not I need to buy another $200 to $300 piece of hardware to get this done. This is gross. This is disgusting. Then, by all means, once they've got that fleshed out for people, if they want to come out with some extra devices that they think are more, you know, better suited for that kind of thing for their consumers, and give consumers the option of utilizing their devices specifically to run that kind of mechanic, then fine, dude, you do you. But consumers shouldn't feel, you know, like they don't have any other option. You know, they do this on purpose to try and suck more money out of their consumer base, and that sucks. That's gross. How world servers struggle? Uh-oh. What is this? Chrono Cross. Oh, interesting. Oh my god, no way. Yo, yo. You guys seeing this? Hellblade 2 will only take around 8 hours to beat, guys. I'm not even going to get started on my rant right now. I'll just wait until we get into that article. When does WWE 2K24 come out? Let's talk about that. We've heard for a while that Black Flag was going to be remade. I wouldn't be surprised if they're already working on that. PS Plus subscribers losing hit horror game and more soon. Let's take a look. Bing, bing. Yeah, Walmart reportedly starting to purge their physical games next week. We've been talking a lot about this. I mean, as time moves on, we're getting closer and closer and closer to a fully digital world here for us as video gamers. It's inevitable, really. I mean, as much as it's been kind of held off in large part by the console side of gaming, obviously, it's coming. There are reasons why it hasn't happened. Some of them very understandable, but it's inevitable. We've talked about it a lot. Square Enix wants to refine their video game lineup moving forward. Let me finish this title. To be solely invested in games that only incorporate NFTs, blockchain, Web3, and crypto-based economies. Let's see what this actually says. But I'll be honest, I'm not that far off there in all actuality. Has Machine Games just teased a new Quake? Yo, Lethal Company is supposed to be an absolute banger. This game's only like $10 on Steam. Pinky's been playing it, and he's totally loving it. You know, so we'll probably try to get a little bit of this in this year at some point. What is this? Is this more flippin'? We'll see what this is. Hopefully it's not clickbaity stuff, dude. We just talked about that yesterday. Feels bad. Dude, Palworld blew up yesterday. Their co-op connectivity issues were caused by exceeding 700,000 concurrent players. It's a lot, dude. So I did a little bit of reading yesterday, and apparently what it is that you can have dedicated servers set up on Steam. You know what I mean? Through Steam, you can have dedicated servers set up, not on Xbox, you know, but so not Game Pass, not Xbox, anything like that. But on Steam, you can have dedicated servers set up where you can actually run 32 people. Other than that, you're only going to be able to have 4 people on a server, or, you know, like in a world. And so, you know, we'll see how that works moving forward. But for a game like this, again, I think that the more people you can get in a world, the better it actually works. And Force feels kind of slim, unless you're just kind of wanting to run something chill with your friendos. This song. Baby girl, dude. Halo Infinite's ditching seasons in favor of operations. Epic Nintendo Switch sale going on. Let's see what we can find in there. Hellblade 2 and Alan Wake 2 are signs of a worrying trend. Dude, I've been talking about this. What are they going to be hitting on the same things I was talking about? Oh, it's just they're just talking about going digital only. That's not the same thing I was talking about. Let's go one more page here. I disagree, Creative Block. I disagree. Is Palworld cross-platform? No. There's no cross-play, no cross-progression or anything like that right now, but they are working on implementing that. It is early access. Be patient. It is supposed to be happening. All right, man, let's stick with this. Let's go. These are going to be our articles for the day. Let's jump in here and do the news. You guys ready? Yo, let me say something real quick before we start this off. Within the past couple of weeks, man, I hit on an article talking about, you know, this roughly $50,000, you know, ship pack that people could buy for Star Citizen. And, you know, it's anytime I come across something like that with Star Citizen, I dive into educating people on the history of that game, because it's, in my opinion, something people should be knowledgeable about. What has happened through the history of that game? I know there are people that enjoy that game, or the modules that are playable for that game. I understand that. But there is no denying the facts about that game, which is the fact that it is an incredibly, I think actually the highest crowdfunded game ever by a large margin of well over $500 million. You know, since they started development on that game roughly a decade ago. Actually, no, over a decade ago. I think about 12 years ago, something like that. 12, 13 years ago. And it was supposed to release, they announced originally that the game was supposed to release in 2014. And that game still doesn't have a full release. It is playable in what they call alpha content modules. Yet, again, this is a company that has been built around the popularity of Chris Roberts, and who gained notoriety because of the game Wing Commander way back in the day and stuff like that. This is what's funny to me. You know, I posted a dedicated, you know, video on the YouTube channel about how cringy it is to see them still promoting, you know, these heavily monetized ship packs and stuff after they've already made all this money and they still don't have a full game out and things like that. So I educate people on this. I educate people on what has happened here. And, you know, which is a large part of what I'm about. Educating people about facts. You know, I do my very best to spit facts at people. And then people have to make up their own minds about what they want to think about a situation. Funny enough, you know, I've been getting some comments on this video, and it's funny because you can see the people that don't want to address in the comments. All they want to do is kind of like defend the price of like these ship packs. $50,000 and stuff like that. They just want to defend it and go, oh, well, this is something they've been doing forever, and this is, I don't know why people are making a big deal about this, and you know, nobody has to buy this, and they don't want to talk about this, the entire video, you know, the facts that I talk about in the video about what has gone on through the entire development of that game. There are other people that'll come out and be vocal about it, you know, and all those people that talk, that actually, you know, address exactly what I talk about in like that recent Star Citizen video about how bad it feels that the game is now, you know, going on what, 12, 13 years of development, still not a full release. So they're like, it's terrible. You know, they totally agree with my sentiments, you know. But there are a lot of people that don't even want to address, they don't even want to talk about the facts that I'm spitting, you know what I mean, about the game itself. They just want to defend, you know, and it's really weird how that works. Yeah, they just want to defend the price tag of this like outrageous ship pack, and then don't say anything about you know, any of the other information that was put in the video at all. You know, it's like, okay, man, you know, it's kind of weird how that works, isn't it? Oh, excuse me. Coffee got me bumping camera this morning, dude. There we go. All right, on that note, let's go. It's just funny to me, you know, to see people do that. Let's get into this first article. Halo Infinite is ditching seasons in favor of operations. Halo Infinite seems to be winding down its support. Halo Infinite is dropping its seasonal content and moving towards a less scheduled form of content. Halo is easily Xbox's biggest original franchise, has been struggling for about a decade though. Ever since Halo the Master Chief Collection was released in 2014, the series has been met with constant issues, buggy releases, lackluster campaigns. More have plagued the series, and Halo Infinite was yet another difficult launch. Although it was a really good game, it is one of the best exclusives Microsoft has had in years. Its live service multiplayer has been controversial due to how it has handled, new content, progression, and more. After about 2 years of support, Halo Infinite is moving away from seasons and embracing a new kind of content called Operations. With that said, there will be no Season 6 for Halo Infinite. This will lead to shorter battle passes with 20 tiers that run for about 4 to 6 weeks at a time. We will continue to see new content in Halo Infinite throughout 2024, though it seems like it won't be at the scale of a seasonal content drop like the past few years, or even in comparison to other games like Call of Duty. It was confirmed that 343 Industries has a dedicated team supporting the game going forward, but the studio is also branching out to work on what comes next. Quote, "We have a dedicated team working on supporting Halo Infinite and continuing to deliver coming forward." But also, that's a weird statement. We have additional teams now that are accelerating towards the future, working on brand new projects, said community director Brian Jared during a live stream. Ultimately, it looks like Halo Infinite is winding down support. Hopefully, we'll continue to get new maps for the game, but it's anyone's guess. Seen similar things happen to other games such as Red Dead Online. Rockstar has stopped releasing big content updates for the game in favor of pouring its efforts into the development of Grand Theft Auto 6, given it took about 7 years for Halo Infinite to release after Halo 5. It's anyone's guess how long it'll take to release a Halo 7. Yeah, there's a lot riding on the next Halo installment, by the way. We've heard that 343 has been taking off a lot of the Halo development stuff, just using an advisory role. I don't really know what to think anymore. But Halo, for what it once was, it is no longer that. The amount of, like such an impressively huge, massive title, it's no longer what it once was. And they need it to get back to that prominence that it had at one time. So we'll see what happens with it moving forward. Epic Nintendo Switch sale has games for just $2. The top 19 deals are listed here. They're just going to talk about the sale. They've got links for it. Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga is $17. That'd be a great game for the Switch, actually. Coffee Talk is $6. The Batman Arkham Trilogy is $35. Banger games. I'm willing to bet you you're going to get a lot more gameplay, a lot more fun out of the Batman Arkham Trilogy from Rocksteady than you will out of Suicide Squad. So here's a link to shop the entire deal, digital sell at Nintendo. But the other games they have listed are Fatum Betula, $2. Muo Match, $2. Mr. Driller Drill End, $4. Namco Museum Archives, $4. Coffee Talk, $6. Mortal Kombat 11 is $8. Little Nightmares 2, $9. I don't know how this plays on the Switch, but this was a terrible game on PC. It was so bad. Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, $9. Klonoa Fantasy Reverie Series, $9. Lego Marvel Superheroes, $9. We Love Katamari Reroll, $13. Cult of the Lamb, $14. Banger game. This game is so good. All of Us Are Dead is $15. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, $17. Moving Out 1 and 2 Bundle, $22. Paleo Pines, $22. Hitman Blood Money Reprisal, $24. That's a pre-order. Blasphemous 1 and 2 Bundle, $30. Holy crap, dude. If you like Metroidvanias, this. Batman Arkham Trilogy, $35. To be fair, this is something that just got ported to the Switch, so I understand why the price tag is up a bit. But these games can be gotten as a package on other platforms they've been on for a long time for much cheaper during sales and stuff. So I do, especially like on PC. If you're a PC player, just know that this is at this price tag because it just ported to Switch. So understand that you can get these games, which are amazing games, at a lower price point if you shop around on other platforms, because they've been around on other platforms for a long time now. So a Switch Lite plus Animal Crossing is $200 at Target, and a Switch OLED with Smash Bros. Ultimate is $350. But also understand, we have new Nintendo hardware coming our way this year. So the Switch is an amazing platform. It's an amazing console, and I absolutely would not bang on anybody or bag on anybody for you know, getting their hands on a Switch hardware. You might be better off saving up for the new hardware if you're interested in getting it when it comes out this year. But some nice titles there on sale, so take a look, see if you're interested. Okay, there's the link in chat. I closed that last article too. I didn't need to do that. There we go. When does give me will it come back over to the middle? It won't. Okay, we're just gonna do it like this then. When does WWE 2K24 come out? Potential release date explored. So, let me say this. I've talked about, like, you know, 2K has become one of those companies that you can't rely on to release quality products. The performance of their products is almost always just unfinished and balls. And you need to be skeptical of anything they release. And they've become very much the same thing as, like, EA on a lot of fronts. You know, they're the, like, for the longest time now, they've been the only company releasing, like, wrestling games. Like, EA is the only company that does football, Americanized football, like the NFL stuff, or they're the only ones that do NHL stuff. And they don't really give a crap because there's no competition, right? And if there's no competition, there's nothing to prompt them or be the catalyst behind them needing to elevate the quality of their products. And it feels terrible. So the good thing to note here is that there has been a new wrestling game that has come into the fold in what is it? Is it AWE? Dude, I can't remember the name of it right now. It's more of an arcade style game, but or AWS. I can't remember the name of it right now. But it just came out this in this previous year, and hopefully it was, I think, fairly well received. And my hope here is that with a little bit of competition, it will prompt 2K to be doing better with their WWE games, because they're almost always trash. They just big, hot, buggy pieces of crap. And it sucks for the consumers and people that want to play a wrestling game to not have anything else to go to, you know. But let's see here. WWE 2K24 is one of the most anticipated video games, not only among the wrestling community, but the entire gaming community as well. Is it among the rest of the gaming community also? Is it? Fans cannot wait to get their hands on the video game after the huge success of... Okay, dude. This feels very promotional. I'm just going to skip a lot of this, like, bullcrap. The 2K22 edition came out on March 8th. 2K23 came out on March 14th. Considering the release dates of the previous two games, 2K24 is likely to come out anytime in the second or third week of March. So that's what you need to know. Moreover, the publisher of the yearly game, 2K, has been teasing another date, 1/22/24, which is expected to be the day when the official cover of the game releases. So, mid to late March, that's what you should be preparing yourselves for WWE 2K24, okay? PlayStation Plus subscribers losing hit horror game and more soon. PlayStation Plus, let's see what we got. Looking ahead to February, PS Plus games, that's exactly what's happening with 10 more games that are now showing up in the last chance to play section of the PS Plus menus, which means that users only have so long to play them before they're taken out. Unfortunately for horror aficionados, one of those games happens to be the acclaimed Resident Evil 7. The good news is that if you haven't had a chance to play some of these games that are leaving soon, you've still got time. The PlayStation Plus menus showing which games are leaving don't give a date for when they'll be removed from the service, but it's likely they'll be taken out at some point in February, if not sooner. If you're not familiar with some of those games, you can find out more about all 10 of them below. RE7, Ace Combat 7, Hue, I Am Setsuna, Lost Spear, Lost Worlds Beyond the Page, Oninaki, Tacoma, Tekken 7. Those are the games leaving the service soon, okay? Did they give a definitive date? I don't think so. But these are the games that are going to be leaving, and if you want to play them before they're gone, you're going to need to get in there and get it done. There's your link, okay? Let's see what Square's talking about here. Square Enix wants to refine their video game lineup moving forward. Square recently published a document detailing its financial summary results for the second quarter of the fiscal year ending in March. This report has several substantial comments, specifically mentioning sales and intentions to improve those figures in the future. Square has acknowledged the negative player reaction to Infinity Strash Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, while Star Ocean: The Second Story R has received considerable praise. Additionally, this company intends to refine its development process moving forward so that resources aren't spread too thin. They believe their lineup is too much, necessitating quality control, so they also want to strengthen their in-house work. You can view translations of the significant passages from this Square Enix financial report below via our team's Ryuji. Quote, the digital entertainment segment reported higher sales and profits due to the release of new titles such as Final Fantasy XVI, but we know that didn't do as well as they wanted it to or expected it to. Final Fantasy Pixel Remasters and Infinity Strash. In particular, Star Ocean: The Second Story has been highly acclaimed by fans. On the other hand, Infinity Strash Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai received harsh user comments. Though MMO sales declined in the first half of the fiscal year, they were solid considering it was an off-peak period. Regarding their mobile division, the Japanese version of Dragon Quest Champions was strong after its launch, but has since weakened. The performance of Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis in September and October, immediately after its release, was satisfactory. Said performance is expected to be further revitalized with the release of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. They are going to make a ton of money off this, we know, and the implementation of the half anniversary event, as well as contribute to earnings in the future as a pillar of new titles. Although not included in the Quarter 2 portion, the highly anticipated Dragon Quest Monsters 3 The Dark Prince, which recently sold over 1 million units worldwide across digital and physical, is still doing well in sales. The expectations for the upcoming Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are also growing. A lot of Q&A. The negative reception to Infinity Strash Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai was highlighted soon after its initial launch, where it was already half off at selected retailers in Japan, with harsh critiques via user reviews. Based on Square's explicit mentioning of this title, it's clear this mishap of a release is still on their collective mind. A review of Infinity Strash Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai is not so different. The abysmal storytelling, non-existent weight of combat, questionable sense of progression make the experience not enjoyable in the slightest. In contrast, Star Ocean: The Second Story R has earned waves of positive critical and fan acclaim, with the staff even mentioning it. In our review, we were also impressed with the quality of this remake that had Studio Gem Drops at the helm. The essence of the original release was bolstered with countless improvements. Hopefully we will see greater quality control from Square in the future, so each selected IP has its time to shine. This is what I'll say. This is great to hear. Square Enix has, for the longest time, been one of my favorite studios. They literally, Final Fantasy has been my favorite IP forever. Final Fantasy VII's my favorite game of all time. But, over roughly the past half decade, I've seen a lot of concerning things coming out of Square Enix. And over the past couple of years, specifically, their heavy, transparent pivot, vocal pivot into getting into things like Web3, NFT, blockchain, crypto-based games is not a good look. No company doing that kind of thing is in it to appeal to something that is bringing something substantial to their consumer base and their fan base. It is a way to scum money out of people right now. I have been vocal about this for a long time, about the fact that in the future, I can see ways in which it could be a mutually beneficial incorporation. But right now, it's not. The video gaming industry and the worlds that are built between these different companies and stuff, they're not meshed enough for something like that to happen. And, that's just one note here. I mean, Square is... they've done other things like, for instance, their port of Final Fantasy VII Remake Integrate to PC was bad. it had a lot of performance issues, and they didn't fix it. They waited for the modding community to fix it, and they didn't actually fix it themselves till roughly a year later, year and a half later. That's terrible. That's terrible. And you know, I think that's one of those things that comes down to quality control, actually. So but I have been, you know, anytime I bring these things up for Square, I also talk about the fact that I think they're still pushing out quality content for the most part. I think they still do a pretty good job with the quality of their content, and a lot of the performance of their games is still pretty good and stuff. So you know, I'm just worried. I've seen companies go this route before. I've seen companies slowly, you know, take that plunge into just, you know, being greed monsters. You know, Blizzard. Jesus, Blizzard was my other favorite developer of all time, and I won't play their games anymore. Yeah, and I don't. It's difficult to watch these companies that you fall in love with at some point in time through your, you know, history of being a lover of video games turn into something. And if you've seen it before, you start seeing identifiers that lead you to believe that it might be happening with some of the other companies you love. Now, I've seen that a little bit with Square. It's not like they're totally there yet or anything, obviously, but they're concerning things. And to hear them come out and say something like this is a positive thing, I think. You know, they're still concerned about making quality content, and that's a positive for me, man. Has Machine Games just teased a new Quake? Some eagle-eyed fans believe that Machine Games may have teased a new Quake game during the Xbox Developer Direct. The potential tease appeared for a couple of quick seconds during the Indiana Jones showcase. First spotted by Reset Era user Jiggles Bunny, thanks Xbox Era, who posted a screenshot showing that the tease showed AKE6 with the Quake logo below it written on a whiteboard. You can see it for yourself at the 4444 timestamp from the official Xbox Developer Direct video. Well, this could be an entirely a coincidence. Xbox Era does point out that they heard back in 2021 that a new Quake game is in development. Yeah, we had heard that. If true, the timeline from rumor to now could suggest that an announcement could be made in the near future, as it has likely now been in development for over 3 years. Back then, Xbox Era co-host said that the game would have both single player and multiplayer and have a female lead. It's worth noting that things can always change, and this rumor is from 3 years ago, but the tease during the Indiana segment seems like a pretty obvious one in our opinion. Quake 2 Remaster was released in the summer of last year for PS5, PS4, Xbox Series X and S and One, Nintendo Switch, and PC at a $10 price point. I would love to see a new Quake, man. I think a lot of people would. So, fingers crossed. Steam users get a free game during a short sale. Let's see what we got here, man. Test. Let's just pull this up. Free right now. What is this game? Puzzle, 2D, cute, top-down detective. Interesting. Why not add it to the library? You know what I mean? Here you go. If you want to take a look, this is the link for test on Steam. It does have very positive reviews. It's only 61 reviews, but it's 93% positive, which is a good look. They note some other like free titles, cheaper or titles that are on sale, stuff like that. So I'll link this. You guys can take a look at this if you want. But That's the main thing they were trying to talk about there. Oh, let's talk about that last. So let's talk about this. Pal World servers struggle. So from what I read last night, I was wondering how big of a world you can actually create. Because yesterday, whenever I hosted my own play, it could only be 4 players tops. And for a game like this, it feels more appropriate to have more people, really, unless you're just trying to have a chill vibe thing going on. It is early access. I think this will get fleshed out more and everything. But apparently what I found out is if you're on Steam, you can have dedicated servers that hold 32 people. And we kind of had heard that from our buddy Ferret yesterday, too. But I wanted to do a little bit more research last night, and that's what I had found out. But, you know, I think this actually feels like a game that could be totally fleshed out to just be an open world where, you know, most people play on the same server together. That is, I think, ultimately would be like the most fun thing for this to do. You're going to end up having PvP, you've got guilds, you know, you run around, large worlds, massive amounts of players, you know what I mean? Things like that. I think that could be dope. But we'll see how it progresses. It's early access. It feels really good for what it is right now. I'm loving it. We're going to play a lot more of it today and tomorrow. It's going to be a good time, and we'll probably get Pinky in there with us, and we'll see who else wants to play. But it's really fun right now, and I think that the game has a lot of potential. The core elements of what this game is bringing to the table right now feels really, really good. And a lot of the things that I was hoping to see for an early access title are in fact there, you know. And I think that it has just an immense amount of potential for what it could be moving forward. Pal World, the highly anticipated open world survival and crafting game, often referred to by the internet as Pokemon with Guns, has already garnered considerable attention with an influx of players on the Steam platform. The overwhelming demand for this unique gaming experience has put a strain on its servers, underscoring the game's rapid rise in popularity within the gaming community. Within the inaugural day of early access, Pal World has achieved a remarkable milestone, boasting an impressive 300,000 concurrent players on Steam alone. It's worth noting that this substantial figure doesn't encompass users on Xbox or those opting for alternative PC launchers. Right. Remarkably, Pal World has swiftly secured a position among the top 25 record holders for concurrent players on Steam, surpassing renowned titles like Grand Theft Auto 5 and Starfield by a margin of several thousand players, signaling a momentous entry on what kind of games people want. A captivating blend of familiar and enjoyable gaming experience with a touch of edginess inherently captures the attention of enthusiasts. Moreover, the prevailing sentiment surrounding Pokemon games, marked by recent negative reactions, has created a void eagerly sought to be filled by a novel approach. Coupled with the perception that Digimon video games tend to be excessively lengthy, there exists a palpable anticipation for a monster taming adventure that diverges significantly from the conventional, offering players a refreshing and distinctive gaming encounter. In addition to its intriguing monster taming premise, Pal World encompasses a diverse array of engaging features. Base building, crafting, dungeons, confrontations with enemy factions, formidable PAL bosses, the inclusion of mounts, and the exciting dimension of multiplayer gameplay. According to Kotaku, Pal World is set to support 32 players, with the promise of incorporating PvP options in subsequent updates, amplifying the competitive dynamics. Notably, Pocket Pair, the visionary studio behind Pal World, has affirmed its commitment to post-launch enrichment by unveiling plans to introduce additional types of pals, ensuring a continual evolution of the gaming experience for its dedicated player base. This is what I was talking about yesterday. Right now, you know, even just with the pals it has, it feels good, but the potential for expanding based on, you know, maybe evolutions, if you will. It's a very Pokemon-esque word, so we'll be careful. Maybe palvolutions. You know, I don't know what they want to call it, but you know, where you know, maybe if you get these things up to a certain level and you have the right kinds of items or whatever, you can evolve them, you know, into their next forms, things like that, or even breed them to make hybrids. You know, and then evolve those as well. Who knows? I mean, the potential is it's massive. Again, like I said before, the potential for this game feels really, really good, and we'll just have to see what they decide to do with it and what routes they decide to go with it. But there's a lot of potential here. Hello, everyone. We are blown away with the response to Palworld, and we're doing our best to respond to your issues. Currently, our server provider is reporting that due to the large amount of concurrent players, the servers have become unstable, and you may be experiencing ellipses. Palworld. To the overwhelming popularity of Palworld reached such heights that in a statement issued on January 19th, across its various social channels, the game acknowledged encountering server stability challenges due to the surging influx of players. In response to this, Palworld advised players experiencing connection issues to either attempt a game restart for a potential resolution or exercise patience while the dedicated development team diligently works to address and rectify the server-related concerns, emphasizing their commitment to ensuring a seamless and enjoyable gaming experience for all enthusiasts. Yeah, we didn't have a lot of issues yesterday. I was dealing with some flux on my end. Pinky said everything was good. Oh, you're getting Game Pass to download it? Cool, King. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, man. I really enjoyed it yesterday. We're going to have a lot more fun with it today. Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I'm playing on Steam, so we won't be able to play together, King. But, you know, you let me know what you think about the game as you continue to play it. And happy Saturday, my friend. It's very good to see you, dude. So yeah, let me know what you think. It's been a lot of fun so far. I had a blast playing it. I didn't want to quit playing it yesterday. Yeah. So I don't know if it's just it was a matter of the game. I could tell you that I did have some issues with it. Seemed like everything that I was running for the stream and everything. What up, Pinky? Everything that I was running for the stream yesterday, the game seemed like it was utilizing a lot of the same kind of hardware that a lot of my stream stuff was too. And then I toned down some of the graphical options, and it got a little bit smoother and stuff. And I don't know. We'll just have to see how it goes today. I don't know. It was like good for a long time after I toned stuff down, and then all of a sudden I started having fluxes again and everything. And I don't know if what exactly the issue was. I might need to run Afterburner and see what's happening. I might be having some, some weird hardware usage stuff going with the game between running it and I think it probably just needs a little bit of further optimization, but running it and doing all the stream stuff at the same time was definitely, I think, causing some issues. It definitely was in the first place when I booted it up. I don't know if you were around, Pinky, yesterday when I booted it up initially, but it definitely was messing with stuff initially whenever I booted it up. I had to pull down graphic options and stuff quite a bit because it was utilizing a lot of resources initially. So I don't know. Your PC's also newer than mine too, though, dude. So, I don't know. You've got newer hardware than I do, man. But I probably need to run Afterburner and take a look at everything. So, I don't know. We'll see. The game does feel very, very good. I'm enjoying it a lot, and I can't wait to play more of it, man. I like this song. Bow, 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 bow. What just happened? Oh, okay. We're good. I'm extremely conflicted over Hellblade's runtime. This is the last article I have for the day. I'm actually just, consider me not all that surprised, but just also blown away by the absolute absurdity of this after everything I've been talking about with this game and everything I've seen about it and all my worries about it. And then we read this, okay? So this will be the last article I talk about. Then we're going to go play games for the rest of the day. It'll probably be something around like a two-part kind of day. I've got something going on around midday where I've got to step away for a little bit, and then I'll come back and probably play for a while longer. But we'll figure that out. Depending on how many people are playing along with me today, I could just leave stuff up and running and shut the stream down. I could shut everything down. Could just leave it running because I won't be gone too long. We'll see how it goes. But either way, I'll have to step away for a little bit. It shouldn't be but for probably around 30 minutes or so, and then I'll be back, but we'll figure it out. So let's talk about this, and then we'll get into gaming. I'm extremely conflicted over Hellblade's runtime. So the Hellblade 2 will only take around 8 hours to beat. And while short games aren't bad, they can't be sustainable on 5-year development cycles. So, no, not all short games are bad. But let me tell you something. The majority of my concerns for everything I've been seeing about Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 not being a true video game and being a cinematic experience with a little bit of interactivity in it, which is what I'm suspecting this game is, and everything that I am seeing and being shown about this game leads me to believe it actually is. I now hearing that it's only going to take around 8 hours to beat is just further reinforcing the idea that this is not a true video game. This is going to be a visual experience with a little bit of gameplay mechanic in it. The thing that sucks is they're not promoting it as that. They're promoting it as a video game, and I'm not a fan of that. Hellblade 2 Senua's Saga feels like a money where your mouth is sort of game for me. I've said for a long time the current way games are developed is unsustainable, and quoted the famous slogan, "I want shorter games with worse graphics, made by people paid more to work less," and I'm not kidding. But seeing Hellblade 2 clock in at under 10 hours has me conflicted. Firstly, Hellblade doesn't quite fit this gaming motto. It does not have worse graphics. Despite being a fairly small studio of around 100 employees, admittedly under the Microsoft umbrella, Hellblade has cutting-edge visuals. Because it's a flippin' movie. It's not going to be a video game. This is going to be a visual experience. It's not going to be a true video game. It has been in development for at least 5 years, which may have included people working less for money, but less for more money, but it still doesn't solve gaming sustainability problem. Hellblade 2, like many video games around today, is a game that took half a decade and likely a huge amount of money to make, comes out the other end looking pristine. The only difference is many of its peers do that and end up with a 20-hour experience, and Hellblade is offering less than half that. I don't believe in a minutes to dollar value conversion in gaming, nor do I. Dude, I actually had to reply to somebody on YouTube last night. I get so sick of people like trying to comment on videos when they don't actually listen to everything that's being said in the videos, or they don't actually watch the videos or whatever, you know. But I don't often reply. I'm just like, okay, well, you know, whatever. This person's dumb. They didn't actually take in all the information of the video. They just wanted to comment or whatever. But there's a video where what was the title of that video, man? I don't know. I'll have to pull it up. But basically I was talking about, it was about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth skins being put in Apex. And I talked about free to play games and how they have to make money, and I think it's it's something that we have to address as a gaming community, that it's appropriate that we consider giving back to a lot of these developers that make like free-to-play titles. The reason I'm pivoting into this conversation of this topic right now is because they brought up this 20-hour experience, right? End up with a 20-hour experience. AAA price tag, dude. We see this all the time, and this was my reply last night. So I had to reply to this person because they were like, well, and again, they didn't listen to all my sentiments in the video. It was obvious. But they tried to present this analogy of, well, time of entertainment in a video game and paying for the amount of time and entertainment you get in a video game isn't a good argument, because what if the same thing was to be said for something like a baseball glove or something like that, where you had to pay every time you used it? And I was like, dude, you literally didn't listen to anything about the video. So if people want to say that it's, there's not a good argument for playtime versus how much you're paying and stuff, but there is on some fronts, right? So you want to talk about like a AAA experience, right? Which is what Senua's Saga 2 is being brought to us as, a AAA experience. Now, we don't know exactly how, they're already pushing this out, right? Is Senua's Saga 2 already being pre-order and stuff? Is it? Are they $50 price pointing this? They don't have a price point on it yet. They don't have a price point on it yet. Okay. So we don't know how much it's going to cost yet. Probably AAA price tag though. Probably. Yeah. We'll see. But how often do we see games come out? Like, I'll give you an example. Here recently we saw Spider-Man 2, right? Spider-Man 2 had a main story game time of roughly 20 hours. Yeah. And you're paying $70 for that. Now, everybody's going to have a different viewpoint on whether or not that's worth it to you or not. Insomniac makes great content. And, you know, is that content at $70 worth a 20-hour experience of game time? This is what people have to start discerning for themselves. Now, after talking about that, when you take into consideration something like a free-to-play game, where people are potentially getting hundreds of hours and not paying a cent, is it not appropriate for people to approach those free-to-play games that you obviously enjoy enough to get hundreds of hours of playtime and take a moment and go, I should probably support these developers in some form or fashion, you know? Because I think it is. You're willing to pay $70 for 20 hours of gameplay, but you're not willing to take a step back and give back to a developer that's giving you hundreds of hours of gameplay for free, you know? And then somebody wants to try to put a comment in a YouTube video last night about, you know, like, there's not a valid argument on that front at all, you know? When there is, in some contexts, it's not, just a totally black and white topic. There's some gray area there that people need to understand and address. Am I somebody that's going to go, yeah, you know, anytime you get, you know, any video game at all, anytime you boot it up, you know what I mean, and you play it, you should have to pay? Absolutely not. That's asinine. It doesn't make any sense. But we are definitely in this, you know, industry now where I think everybody has to take a hard look at, you know, what you're getting from AAA companies versus what you're getting for things that quite often you get to play for free, and which one's worth supporting more. You know what I mean? Everybody's going to feel a little bit different, you know, and a lot of that's going to be respective to your current, like, financial, you know, situation, right? But it's an appropriate thing to kind of take a look at. Yeah, and I think that that's okay. As long as, you know what I mean, you're getting you know, if you're getting entertainment out of a game and, you know, pay back a little bit every once in a while, whatever. But there's the other side of it is, like, there's a lot of very scummy stuff that happens in the monetization of games as well. So, I mean, it's something you have to be careful about, right? So I think that was one of the things I was trying to bring up about the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth Apex Legends skins, was that, you know, there are good ways to go about trying to get support from your community in those, you know, from a developer standpoint. And there's a very scummy way too, which is what Apex Legends mashup with Final Fantasy VII and Square Enix felt like. Felt really gross, right? But I digress. You know, let's get back into what we're talking about here. So Hellblade is offering less than half that. Don't believe in a minutes to dollar value conversion in gaming. I don't either. Several of my favorite video games from last year were shorter than Hellblade. Slay the Princess, Space for Unbound, Cocoon, Goodbye Volcano High, all made my Game of the Year list with shorter runtimes. But they're going to be much lower price points too, right? And I'm going to say this. Most of these games here are probably going to be more of a video game experience than Hellblade will be. But Hellblade looks the way it does because it wants to fit in with the AAA crowd. The burden to carry Xbox through 2024 is lessened by the release dates for Avowed and Indiana Jones, but no Xbox exclusive is without pressure. It might come out at like a $50 price point. It might. No Xbox exclusive is without pressure. Fans may call it the Xbox tax, but the cold hard truth is PlayStation was very successful in the PS4 era thanks to a slew of exclusives, and Xbox decided if you can't beat them, join them. It was brought up. It has brought up twin behemoths in Bethesda and Activision to make this a reality, but so far its efforts have floundered. Ironically, the one Xbox exclusive that has lodged itself into gaming culture is Hi-Fi Rush, which eschewed AAA visual trappings for a funkier, far more original art style. Hellblade's art style is already set by the first game, which I liked well enough, but so I'm not sure where it could go. I guess I mostly don't like that an 8-hour game takes 5 years to make, as impressive as Hellblade may be either visually or in terms of game. Dude, I don't think there's any way. I don't think there's any way this game is going to be impressive in terms of gameplay. I think it's going to be actually very, very minimalistic in terms of gameplay. It's going to be a visual, cinematic experience. I'm seeing nothing gameplay-wise here that it is in any of the things that has been shown about this game so far, and the game is very close to releasing, that has led me to believe there's going to be anything significantly cool about the gameplay of this game. The industry cannot sustain itself on 2 short games a decade. That's what I'm saying, King. I don't know for sure. I'm guessing it'll probably be a $50 or $60 price point, but it'll also be on Game Pass. So that's something, right? That's always something we have to keep in mind with Microsoft, their subsidiaries, stuff like that. It will be on Game Pass day one. So if anybody's interested in it, I think that, that's probably the best thing you can do is play it on Game Pass. Because I honestly, I think there are a lot of people out there that have a high propensity for looking at a video game to be a visually appealing thing first. And that's not me. I want a game that feels, very performance-wise, feels very good. I want a game that has awesome gameplay features and mechanics and stuff like that. I want it to be very engaging, and I don't want to watch a movie while I'm playing a video game. If I get a good, nice cutscene and cinematic every once in a while, that's awesome, dude. I'm cool with that. But if I'm sitting there for 6 of these or 5 of these 8 hours of this game, and all I'm doing is twiddling my thumbs together, not on joysticks, I'm gonna be pissed, because that's not a video game. That's a movie. And that's what I think this is gonna be. Last year, another Xbox showcase claimed Hellblade would push boundaries. My thought at the time was why. Some would argue this is the primary purpose of art. There was not a sense that these were necessarily creative boundaries, but technological and budgetary restrictions that needed to be broken to keep up with the Joneses over at Sony. Facial animation does not a game make. My issue is less that the game took 5 years. More that those 5 years have been spent making Senua look like her Senuiest rather than anything interesting. So do I actually want shorter games, or is that just a thing I say because I don't like where the industry is heading? I suppose the assumption is that these shorter games also have shorter, more comfortable development cycles, rather than 5 years of breaking boundaries. It's nothing against Hellblade personally. Take out Sunset Overdrive, and it's my favorite Xbox exclusive of the past 15 years. It's just maybe I should have said I want shorter games with worse graphics made by people paid more to work less, and I'm not kidding, and they shouldn't take 5 years to make. But part of it is probably selfish. I enjoy video games, and waiting 5 years for 8 hours doesn't seem exciting. Agreed. There is a more, if not altruistic, than at least pragmatic approach here. Video games aren't going to move away from the allure of crafting the biggest, blockiest, bustingest games around, but will likely need to be embrace the 1.5 game. Think Spider-Man Miles Morales style spin-offs to keep to a regular enough release rhythm to be sustainable. Hellblade clocking in at 8 hours makes it feel like a 1.5 game, despite being a core sequel, and games of this size cannot consistently take 5 years to make. No way, dude. It is a weird look. It feels weird. Ultimately, Hellblade will be judged, good or bad, when it arrives, and I'd probably have the same sustainability fears if we found out it was 100 hours long. Luckily, there are numbers between 8 and 100. Clearly, this is where my own personal video game magic number lies. Hellblade was a key part of Xbox's great showcase last night. That was not a great showcase, by the way. and Xbox feels like it's moving in the right direction. 5 years for 8 hours is not an equation games can do for very long if they want to answer to be profit. Yeah, absolutely. What would I say the best game was? You mean of the Xbox showcase? Is that what you mean, King? Is that what you're asking? So again, man, I think that if you're gonna create a game like this or a piece of software like this, and you're going to, you know, I think you have to promote this. Dude, I don't know yet. This game hasn't released. I could be wrong. And if I'm wrong on release, dude, I will retract my statements. I will admit that I was wrong, but I literally haven't seen anything about Senua Saga Hellblade 2. Leads me to believe this is anything other than mostly a cinematic visual novel type of experience where you're just going to be watching a story. And for me, that's not really a video game. There might be some button presses in there occasionally, some joystick holding, stuff like that. That's not really a video game. And for me, instead of promoting this and marketing this as a video game, it should be marketed as such. It should be marketed as a visual, cinematic experience, not a game. Because I am about 95% sure this is exactly what I'm calling it out to be. So, that's the news. King, let me know exactly what you were asking there. What games would you say the best game was? I don't know exactly what you're asking there, but I'll answer it to the best of my ability if it's, you know, if I get a little bit tighter of a grasp of what you're asking for. All right, a little bit less vague, and I'll give you the best answer I can. It's good to see everybody. Happy flipping Saturday, man. Great news segment, and we're gonna play games for the rest of the day. So of all the games I've played, the best game was well, I mean, my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII. You know, a lot of my other favorite games that I've ever played. You know, I mean, I can pull up some stuff, and I mean, so some of my top games of all time: Final Fantasy VII, Diablo 1 and 2, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. There's you know, there's a lot, dude. There are a lot of games just in my Steam library. You know, I've got a favorites list here. You know, of some of the more recent ones. Dude, I played Dave the Diver last year, was phenomenal. 2018's God of War is definitely up there in my top 10. Dude, that game was so banger. Skyrim, absolutely amazing. Loved it. Dragon's Dogma. Dude, I loved Dragon's Dogma. I played 130 hours of this game. Hollow Knight, dude, is another one that I loved very much. Borderlands 2 was also a lot of fun. You know, I've played, you know, I played a lot of games, and dude, Valheim's got to be way up there. You know, I loved Valheim, dude. I don't know why that's not in this list, actually. There's a lot that I probably need to go back and look at and, like, throw into the list and everything that I just haven't done. Where's my flipping Valheim at, dude? I'll do it later. But, you know, as far as best, I think that, you know, you would, if you wanted to know, like, best game, you would have to, like, you know, break it down probably into different categories for me as far as what kind of best are you talking. But as far as just favorite games and stuff, that's you know, at least a bit of a taste of where my preferences lie and stuff, you know. I've been playing games for flipping ever, dude. And a lot of my top games of all time, you know, Final Fantasy 3/6, whatever you want to call it, wherever you're from in the world, same game, it'll have two different names. That's way up there on the list for me. That's a huge part of my youth. You know, there's a lot, dude. There's a lot that I'm leaving out right now too. I probably need to make a list at some point, so whenever people ask this, I just have a list to pull up. But hopefully that gives you an idea. You know, I'm kind of all over the place, man. I've got a lot of games that I enjoy quite a bit. Dude, Path of Exile is very, very good too. I love Path of Exile. A lot of good stuff out there, man. Fallout 3 was a banger. Yeah, for me personally, yeah, I mean that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. I mean, like, for me personally, my favorite game of all time is Final Fantasy VII. Easy. That's been my favorite game since the day I opened it. Since the day I put it in my PlayStation 2, that's been my favorite game. I don't know that I'll ever, and a lot of it's nostalgia, you know, but it's just, it's hard for it's sat there at the top of my list forever, and it's really, really hard to, a lot of nostalgia goes into it. But at the time when that game came out, it was absolutely mind-blowing for me, you know, like something like Final Fantasy VII was. So, are there obviously, you know, gaming has evolved a great deal since then, and there are so many amazing games and things like that. But you know, for me, like number one and number two games of all time, it would be Final Fantasy VII and then Diablo 2. Diablo 2 would sit right behind it. I played a ton of Diablo 2. I loved that flipping game. Loved that game. But there are a lot of them, man. There are a lot. And I mean, I would probably have to break it down into like different generations of games and stuff like that too at this point, you know. Probably. You guys rock, dude. Good question there, King. Good question. So we'll go play some Pal World today, man, and we'll have some fun. Again, it'll be a bit weird. I've got about 4.5 hours until I'll need to take a break to take care of something this afternoon. Shouldn't take me too long, but I'll probably just shut the stream down and then come back and get a few more hours in of like part 2 of the day or something. But we'll get a nice long, fun playthrough in of Pal World for the day. So if anybody's been hanging out this morning, you're not familiar with what we do, this is how we start out all of our streams, man. 6 days a week, every day but Wednesday. Always begin with video gaming news, trying to flesh out a lot of these ideas, topics that we cover, and you know, find for every single day that pertain to the video gaming industry. Try to promote a healthier industry for us as consumers and video gaming enthusiasts. And you know, after that, we always move on and play games for the rest of the day. So if you're digging this content, just know that we've got all of our, you know, most of our previous content anyways on the Twitch channel and the YouTube channel and playlists where you can watch the VODs of the previous stuff we've done, whether it be playthroughs, funny clips and highlights, news stuff, all that content. And if you're digging the content, then come be a part of what we do when we're live, man. We're always looking for more people to come be a part of our community, engage in what we do when we are hanging out together live. And we've got an awesome community of people that are always here on the constant, and always looking to grow our community in the right way with the right kinds of people, being wholesome, you know, welcoming, inclusive, taking care of one another, you know, being void of toxicity, negativity, those kinds of things, and just, you know, being a community that enjoys video games and, you know, being civil about stuff. So if you can dig that, man, come be a part of what we do, man. We'd be happy to have you, and we're always looking for more cool people to be a part of it. So other than that, man, it's rando mote time, so get your rando motes in there. Stay healthy, stay safe, be kind. The stream's not going down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to run us an outro to kind of finish up this news segment, and as soon as that's over, we'll start getting ready to play some games. You guys look beautiful this morning. Happy Saturday. Be right back.